All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University, a site for legacy death and taxes. And today we're going to be playing something, well, it's really spicy. It's maybe the spiciest of all meatballs. I don't even know that it's a real deck, but it's real in my heart. Based on the one match that I've played with this deck has a 100% win rate. So that's what we're walking into this stream believing, that this is a winner. We are playing with, as foretold, Electro-Stompy. So here's the game plan. The game plan is to try to use either As Foretold or Electro-Dominance to cast Restore Balance or Ancestral Visions for free. So the goal is to enable Balance, which is a banned card in Legacy, and I believe a restricted card in Vintage as well. It's a very dumb Magic card. It enables some just absolutely degenerate lines, and, you know, instant mana, free, draw 3 cards sounds sweet as well. To support this, we have some fast mana, some Blood Moon and Ensnaring Bridges to sort of like buy time and have sort of a soft lock, as well as a suite of 6 Planeswalkers. We're very much not a traditional blue deck. We are a Chalice of the Void blue deck, which is a weird sort of place to be. You'll notice there's 2 Burning Wishes here. These are for 9 targets in the sideboard for various circumstances. There's the 4th copy of both Restore Balance and Visions in the sideboard so that you can wish for them. And then there's just a little bit of everything. Mostly various types of removal, although we also have on Mordigo, which is sort of like weird graveyard/library hate. If you play other formats, you're probably familiar with this one, but some of the legacy specialists around here, maybe not so much. So it says, choose a card, search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for up to 4 cards with that name, and exile them. The player shuffles their library, then draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way. So it's a card that you can use to hate out a specific card that might beat you. You know, say you can't beat, Omniscience or something like that. You can go and exile those. Otherwise, you can use it to, like, rip Grizzlebrand or something from the graveyard if you're somehow not dead by turn 3. As far as the deck goes, like, this is basically it. Like, the deck is relatively all in on the let's cast degenerate cards for free somehow plan, and we're sort of a prison deck as backup. I'm just going to hop into games with this, and we're going to see how it goes. Alright, so I want leagues. Also, let me give fair warning. I am sick. I have been taking the drugs. I feel pretty okay right now, but who knows what'll happen when the next batch of Dayquil hits. So if I start getting a little too loopy, let me know. Potentia, thank you very much for your continued support. I feel like I should know this player. I know I've played against them before. I can turn to Blood Moon or As Foretold, which is probably good enough to keep this hand. This deck's kind of weird. I mean, you've already probably figured that out. But you kind of have to accept that you go relatively hard on one of the first cards that you play. So my opponent will probably take the Blood Moon here, and then we'll see if we can draw something sweet. If we don't draw anything sweet, we just jam it As Foretold. probably playing against Ant, which my current hand is not well positioned to beat. But we have chalices to draw into. And a restore balance would probably be kind of gross, too. They're going to need a critical density of cards to go off, and if I just, like, strip them of a bunch of their hand, probably no bueno for them. Or we could, you know, just, like, draw Chalice in the Void like a master. If we draw a land, we get to Jace. I don't think I need to Ensnaring Bridge yet. I think I can pretty safely do that next turn. Just dumping another As Foretold into play so that once I get a Jace in play, I can cast multiple free things a turn is probably better. Like, our bridge is already protected from discard by the Chalice, so I'm not, like, worried about it getting taken or anything. And our opponent gives up before seeing our win condition, which I think is interesting. If I were them, I probably would have waited this one out a little while longer, but they may value their time a little bit. Okay, so the kind of weird thing about this deck is that most of the time you leave a bunch of the things in the sideboard as tutor targets, because you have these Burning Wishes. But I might board some stuff in randomly. So the bridges are pretty bad. So I'll probably want to try to board 4 cards in. Could board in by force to blow up Moxen that are played out. Could board in Leylines if I wanted. I could board in Unmoored Ego. What's my tutor target? What am I Burning Wishing for in this match? I guess, like, Pyroclasm can go and, like, wipe the field of goblins. That's probably fine. Fiery Confluence can do the same thing. If I Burning Wish, a lot of the times I might just be getting, like, Ancestral Visions. Is there anything else I actually, like, want to board out? Everything's kind of okay in terms of power level. Like, I have to win with the Planeswalkers. That's, like, non-negotiable. I don't just want to, like, randomly play 2 Ley Lines. I'm not overly sure that I actually should be boarding them in the first place. So maybe I'll board in the Fiery Confluence, since it can also blow up some artifacts and such. Or maybe I'll just, like, play the Padims to draw me towards more hate. It also will protect my chalices. Yeah, I like that. When you build a deck around a Burning Wish sideboard, you don't end up, like, sideboarding all that much, so it's kind of awkward. Not really doing anything with this hand, so I'm going to mulligan. This hand is pretty good. If we get to rest on one, it's a little unfortunate. Never mind, it's fine. Yeah, we are playing against Ant. Or at least I'm 90% sure we are playing against Ant. No, I can't actually Chalice on 2. Like, I can go Ancient Tomb, Chrome Mox, Imprint, and only have 3 mana this turn, so I need to Chalice on 1 this turn, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, but it's what's happening. Like, this is still very, very good. Well, my opponent is just not willing to put up with my shit here. So you remember when I said Chalice of the Void was probably the best card in Legacy? This is why I think that. Thank you. So for anyone not aware, I won the Legacy Challenge on Sunday with Red Prison. I'll flash the deck list I played real quick. It was very, very good. I mean, obviously. Do. Come on, Moto, you can do it. Moto. Okay. So it was a very aggressive build with sort of an unusual 4 main deck Trinispheres and Lotus Petals to help accelerate them out. Sideboard also included some extra aggressive elements like Hanowar Garrison. I would run 74 of the 75 back. I would play something else over the Grafdigger's Cage. And if I took the time, I would actually swap half my mountains with snow-covered mountains. But the deck list was absolutely absurd. If you're interested in sort of like my thoughts on the deck list and how the tournament went, there's a video up on my YouTube channel where I break everything down, and I show some of my matchup replays, which are absolutely comic. Alright, I can Chalice of the Void, so I will keep this hand. That is how Legacy works. How do I want to do this? I think I want to do this off of Ancient Tomb so that I can Chandra next turn. Ha 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 ha. God, I love Legacy. They have very few cards in their deck that do anything anymore. So they can play towards a Gurmag Angler, which I can beat with like Jace Bounce or with Restore Balance. So I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so the question is, how aggressively do I want to play this? I can just go now, or I can wait one turn. If I wait one turn, I can play around days. And I'm not sure, like, what my math is here for, like, whether I should go now or give them one more draw. So I don't think they had days on turn 1. So if I give them a draw, I am giving them a draw towards either days or force. I suppose jamming now is probably better. So I can cast Chandra, but this deals 4. So that doesn't quite do it. I can just, like, play out a Simian Spirit Guide as a blocker, which is probably fine. And I won't play my land because I need that second red in order to play, or, like, in order to play the Chandra. Oh no, it's not 8 beats. It's gonna be Ape, gain 5, and protect Chandra. Or this can happen. This is actually quite good for me, because if I chump block with Simian Spirit Guide, then I can use Restore Balance to destroy the Gurmag Angler. So even if the Chandra doesn't resolve, I'm okay. No, I don't have to worry about the Wasteland. Chandra makes red. Ooh. So I can also Electro-Dominance here. Do I want to do that? I don't even need to think about it. Okay, great. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Like, once I have the Chalice on 1, they can't really do anything about it. So I think I want to bring the Restore Balance in. I think I just want to have access to that. I'll still have plenty of like bounce and removal spells in the sideboard that I can go and get. And it's also pretty tempting to just board in Fiery Confluence in case my opponent does 1,000,000,000 damage to themselves and I can just, like, nug them. But again, this deck's kind of weird in that, like, you don't really want to sideboard. So, I don't know. I bet, like, at least half of my last videos were D&T. I've been playing a decent amount of D&T lately. Ignore that challenge win with Red Prison. Yeah, whatever. I think we'll probably just ship this back. Actually, it's possible that I should like board out an Ancestral because like one of the best ways that I win is with Bridge, and Ancestral works against that. So maybe I should move one of these to the sideboard and then move this to the main deck. Hey, for 12 ticks or $12, it can be an Applejack's stream again. Shameless plug. Alright, we can Chalice on turn 1, so obviously we keep this hand. That's how Legacy works right now. Come on, daze me. Daze me, let me have it. Aw. I don't know if they just got the force now, or if they weren't willing to force the Chalice because they have like a Gurmag or something. That's currently unclear. Such value. We'll do this the hard way, chat. I'm not actually going to play the Spirit Guide because if I draw an Electro Dominance or a Chandra, this is my second red to cast those. It's possible that like just throwing it into play as a 2/2 to beat down is just correct. And I will play it if I draw another red source. I'm not comfortable doing that at this time. I'm also going to hold this Ancient Tomb here. There's some tension between wanting to empty my head for Ensnaring Bridge and wanting to keep some extra lands for Restore Balance. Interesting. Dazing their own Brainstorm. Getting their Watery Grave back. Okay. Does that get you into Gurmag territory? Three, 6, 7, it does. I will play the Spirit Guide now. It can chump block if I need to get it off the table in order to restore balance. I'll take this hit, and then I'll reevaluate next turn. How many counters are left in this one counter? So next turn I get to draw a whole bunch of cards. So I'll probably chump block with the Spirit Guide this turn. Although if I draw Chandra plus Red Source, I would like to still have the Spirit Guide around. I guess I can use my life total as a resource and take this hit. One of the only things that will punish me is something like a Dismember. Okay, Ratchet Bomb's quite good for them. So if I were them, I would have very heavily considered using the Ratchet Bomb on their turn to wipe my extra mana source off of the battlefield here. Okay, how do I want to play this turn? So I can play this where I go very low on life. Like I can play this where I like tap both my Ancient Tombs, and I guess I can't play Jace and a red card. I can play Jace and Burning Wish if I want. So how cute can I get? So I can go tap Ancient Tomb once, use these 4 mana to Jace. Jace minus on Spirit Guide. Then Electro-Dominance into Restore Balance to wipe the Gurmag Angler forever. It's kind of weird. I think that might be too deep. I think if I just go like Jace minus bounce the Gurmag Angler, I'm in fine shape. I think I just want to like preserve my life in case something goes wrong. So go ahead and bounce the Gurmag Angler. I'm not going to play out another Chrome Mox here because it'll just eat it to the Ratchet Bomb. Him to Torok me. Okay. That was pretty great for me, honestly. I got to keep both Electro Dominance and Restore Balance. Yeah, so if I Restore Balance them, okay, or we can just win. But to finish the thought, if I Restore Balance them, I'll lose a couple of my lands, but I would like Chrome Mox, imprint whatever I drew, Electro Dominance, deal them some damage, Restore Balance, and then like I would have 0 cards left in hand, so they would go down to 0 cards. And like when you're Hellbent and you're the one with Jace, it's a good place to be. All right, so we have not dropped a game with this deck yet. Admittedly, our opponents have scooped a little bit quickly. But like this is the power of Chalice of the Void right now. This is like why I was willing to go all in on Red Prison, and an aggressive version at that, for the Legacy Challenge. Yeah, that's so like the kind of neat thing about Restore Balance in this deck is that it's not really symmetrical, even though like it looks like it should be symmetrical, because like I get to keep a bunch of like artifacts around, and I play to the board relatively well. like with the Moxen, the Chalice, the Bridges, the Planeswalkers, the Aspertolls. So a lot of times it doesn't even matter if I don't have lands anymore. Like, it's relatively unfair. I can't turn one Blood Moon, which is unfortunate because I would love to do that, but I can turn one Aspertold, which is still pretty good. So this is a hand that, like, is not going to do anything quick, but the potential of Aspertold with, like, all the cards in my deck, it's really degenerate if you can resolve one of these on turn 1. So if our opponent doesn't have Force, we're probably fine. So this is the Stompy life. You have to be willing to go all in on a play like this if you're going to play these decks. And this is fine. Like, we gambled on our opponent not having Force with this hand, and they had Force. Like, it's okay. If I draw a red source, I get to, like, slam a Blood Moon, and that's probably phenomenal. If not, like, I can draw a Jace off the top and play that on turn 2. Yes, I agree. Opponent doesn't really know what the Asforetold is going to do, but probably not things that are okay or reasonable. Chalice off the top. Chalice off the top would be great. That's an awkward draw. So my opponent's probably playing Show and Tell, if I were to guess. So our Bridges will be great. The Blood Moon's not so much. Chalices will be strong. Not unbeatable, but strong. It was a shuffle with the Ponder. The idea that they're on Show and Tell seems to have been confirmed. Alright, here's a Chalice. Awesome. So, how many 3-drops do I have? These are kind of important cards. Not so much these 6, but the Asfortolds are very good. And the Ensnaring Bridges are kind of critical to the matchup. I was thinking that I could just, like, Chalice of the Void on 3 so they can't Show and Tell me, and they have to win with Sneak Attack. But if I do that, then, like, my Ensnaring Bridges aren't good anymore. So I should probably not do that. I don't think they have Show and Tell right now, because if they had Show and Tell, they probably would have cast it. So I'm not going to go that deep. I think I'm pretty likely to get, like, red land Sneak Attack, activate, killed this turn. The Ponder was a shuffle. That is not quite what I need here. I also can't cast it. So this one's probably over. I can still get an Ensnaring Bridge and miraculously resolve it. But otherwise I am not getting there. Like, if my opponent can go, like, land, sneak attack, activate Emrakul, I am just dead to that. Yep. Yep. So this is the sort of combo deck that's actually pretty good against, like, the Chalice Blood Moon decks, because they can ignore both sides of the equation pretty well. Alright, so I guess I kind of would like to naturally draw an Unmoored Ego. Ripping one of the enablers out of the deck makes my life so much better. I guess I can play the Padeems. Alright, what's my Burning Wish target? I can Burning Wish for, like, Visions Restore Balance and leave Devastation Tide in the board as a bounce spell, and then board in this one. Because I'm going to want to, like, board out my Blood Moons in this match. This is not really the sort of deck that I'm hoping to play against. Yeah, so, like, the Padeems will protect against Echoing Truth. And, like, something like an Abrade isn't unreasonable either. We're not well suited to win this match. Like, we can get a bridge soft lock, but again, one bounce spell does us in. Okay, so I'm gonna be keeping this hand because I can Chalice on one. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to play out this hand because I think that's interesting. I really do want to play Chalice on one and then Ancestral, but doing so would mean I'm giving up my bounce spell. But I think that's fine. So I think I go... Yeah, and then this would imprint for both blue and black, right? Yeah. So I can go... the mana off of, like, Mox and Spirit Guide to Chalice, and then use my Island to Ancestral. Alright, I'm in. Alright, that's a great turn one. We've got 3 cards coming a couple turns down the line. And we've got a Chalice on one. You know, there is still the whole, you know, just, like, naturally show and tell thing to worry about, but you can't have it all. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Uh-oh. what it's worth, I don't think they were supposed to draw 7 right away. Because they end up discarding a couple of cards by doing that. Alright, well, if they didn't draw a Force of Will there, or they don't draw a Force of Will in the next 7, we've got this one pretty much locked up. But that's a lot to ask for. Doesn't matter if they have Pierce. I have Chalice. Alright, well, they didn't have Force in the first 7. So that's nice. So if you're curious about what combo deck to play in the current metagame, Show and Tell is something that ignores all the Chalices and Moons that are running around very well. This was my only loss in the Swiss of the Legacy Challenge. It was a very easy tournament, to be honest. I drew well and got incredibly favorable pairings, and I can't ask for anything more than that. Okay. I expected to lose this one. Like, it's tough for Red Prison, and Red Prison can present a much faster clock than this one. We're just a touch too clunky to close out the game quickly. Even if they didn't just, like, naturally have the turn 2 Show and Tell there, if they, like, drew it in, you know, the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 turns before I, you know, got something going with a Planeswalker or, you know, got to restore balance or something, they would have won just as easily. Turn 1 Gabo is frequently good enough with Moon Stompy, if I'm being honest. Okay. This hand is all sorts of awkward. If I draw a mana source, I can turn 1 Chalice, but like, my mana doesn't really work out well here, so this one has to go back. Okay, so what happens if I draw a land? If I go land, I can Chrome Mox Jace, Chrome Mox Burning Wish, cast As Foretold, draw 3 cards, and immediately get myself out of this mulligan situation. Ish. Sketchy keep. Bottom that. Oh my gosh, my opponent F6 through their turn. Woo! We take those. My opponent says neat. Indeed, it is neat. Oh, it's Tin Fins. Alright, that means we might not be dead. I have a high chance of being dead, but it's not 100%. So for anyone not familiar with the overall Tin Fin strategy, they're trying to use Grizzlebrand as a draw engine and then regain the life that they lost using Children of Corliss. You get to go and sacrifice that in order to go and get the life back that you lost. and then it lets you just like continue to draw cards with Griselbrand, and then you can like finish off with the Tendrils. This also could be a version that runs the Dark Depths combo. Sometimes the Lion's Eye Diamond ones do that as well. So my opponent sacrifices the children, they regain all their life, they get to go and play a bunch more cards with Griselbrand, and then we'll see how they choose to kill me. I assume it will be Tendrils of Agony. I will make them kill me, though, because I do want to see what's in their deck. There are a couple different builds of Tin Fins. Like, there's a Living Wish version. I think it was like Matt Nass was one of the big advocates of that. I think he spiked some, like, GP or something like that with the deck list, which always felt super clunky to me, but I probably just wasn't mulliganing it well when I played it. My opponent has picked up a Laboratory Maniac, which presumably means that they're going to try to draw the last couple of cards in their deck and then kill me. They can do so pretty easily by going and exhuming the children, sacrificing it. Then they can use like a little bit of mana, presuming they didn't just like mess up and they can actually get their blue. I'm a little worried about that because I see like Lotus Petal here. So they would need like Dark Ritual plus a Lotus Petal. Ooh, okay, so their entire deck's in the graveyard. Alright, yeah, so they are the Dark Depths version. Do they have Unburial Rites here somewhere? Yes, they do. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I died, not unexpected. Ley Lines coming in will be very good. So what don't I want to play? Restore Balance can still attack their hand, which I like. Although it's kind of awkward because I can just like allow them to discard things that they want to discard. So Unmoored Ego is Graveyard Hate, but perhaps I should leave that as a Burning Wish target. The Blood Moons are of medium power level. They're probably playable when I'm on the play and unplayable when I'm on the draw. But it's probably the weakest slot. So I probably will just cut these for my Ley Lines. I don't know if I should just like hard bring this in or not. Yeah, I hope we get to obliterate someone this stream. That'd be awesome. In my practice match, like I did get my As Foretold up to like 8 or 10. So like if I get one out early, it is realistic to do. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this in. I don't know if it's correct to, but like I only have 2 Burning Wishes, and I think I'm just gonna like board one of these out. Or no, maybe I'll board out 1 Restore Balance and then keep this. We'll mulligan somewhat aggressively for Leyline. We're looking for either a Leyline or Chalice hand. Actually, this might be fine. Turn 1 Bridge is really good. Like, it stops both the Merit Lodge and the Griselbrand plans. So my opponent would have to win with Lab Maniac. I'll keep it. So I have a choice. I can either imprint the Visions to do this on turn 1, or I can imprint the Chandra to do this. I think I'm 2 mana off from like this Chandra regardless, so I don't think I should play this, like, play towards keeping this as my win condition. I think I'll draw into a different win condition. My opponent has told me I am not cool. Alright, they can still produce the Grizzlebrand. Let's see what they can do with it. It is still possible to get, like, a Tendrils kill. It is possible to, like, use a Living Wish to, like, find something out of the sideboard that can answer this bridge. So I'm not, like, 100% here by any means. That's kind of annoying because it can, like, stop a Chalice or a Planeswalker. Speak of the devil. I guess I can't actually cast this. A Hex Mage can still poke me. Brainstorm is pretty good. I don't know if you've ever done it before, but I highly recommend it. So I guess, what do I want to, like, protect? I guess I'd like to Chalice after my opponent kills my Jace. I guess long term I'd like to cast this Leyline. So I guess I'll hide that and the Chalice. Although there's an argument for hiding the second Jace. Because if my opponent uses the Hex Mage to kill the first one, I'll have a second. So I guess I'll take that line. Actually, maybe I should plus Jace. Start trying to win with it, because once I play this, if I put this Chalice on the stack and my opponent decides they don't want me to activate Jace, they can then like remove it in response. So I need to use Jace first. No, I don't think I need to get rid of Entomb. So if I were the opponent on their previous turn, I would have traded the Hexmage for the Jace. I don't know that like giving me more activations of this was good. That Thoughtseize actively helps me. I don't really know what they're trying to achieve. Like they can go back up to 5 life, but it seems like they hemorrhaged cards for no real gain. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that Grizzlebrand so that I don't get got by my opponent just like drawing something that lets them Ensnaring Bridge. Or lets them get rid of Ensnaring Bridge, sorry. I don't know what Living Wish will get, but I don't want them to have it. I'm pretty sure of that. There's a weird world where I lose this game after Jace ultimating because my opponent plays Lab Maniac. I don't think that's going to happen, but, you know, it theoretically could. I also kind of wish I had a better feel for what my opponent's outs to bridge are, but I just don't know the lists well enough. It may end up being faster to kill my opponent with Simian Spirit Guide than Jace. So Spirit Guide could kill them in 3 cracks. Jace would kill them. Go to 9, go to 11, go to 13, go down to 1. Jace would kill them in 4. So it's technically faster to kill them with Spirit Guide, especially now. So I may switch to Brainstorm mode. So I can brainstorm. Attack in. If I do, they sacrifice 2 of their lands in order to make a Merit Lodge and trade with my Spirit Guide. Jace is at 7. Now that they've made this, well, they haven't made it yet, but now that they have the Dark Depths, it's very possible that I'm just supposed to, like, continue to plus Jace. And just, like, ride the game out that way. We know nothing about their hand. Unsummon on Spirit Guide into Chandra. So Chandra would go 5, 6, 7, ultimate, and then 1 spell. So that's 4 turns. But it would, like, give me 2 Planeswalkers. Oh, sure, I can just, like, Chandra plus twice. Alright, derp. I don't know that I can actually kill him this turn safely. Like, I could brainstorm, attack in, hope that he doesn't make a blocker, then, like, have drawn a red source Chandra. But I don't know that's really safe. The only thing this does is if my opponent's top card is something that can remove the bridge, I will not cast Leyline of the Void. If it is something that can remove the bridge, I'll get super punished for doing this. Star Street, thank you very much for your continued support. I mean, I don't know that I can get much more awesome than, like, this. This is, like, the pinnacle, right? We have Super Friends plus Chalice. Yeah. Okay. So, do I want to change anything? I have to play against, like, some derpy control deck like Miracles or Grixis Control if we're going to obliterate. It's not going to work against combo. I don't really like the Moon plan in this matchup since, like, so much of their stuff is just based around, like, Lotus Petalable Dark Ritual sort of shenanigans. No, opponent is playing the Tin Fins deck that also has, like, Dark Depths. So, like, it's possible that the Moons are still fine. And that I should just, like, maybe, like, remove 2 Burning Wishes. And, like, maybe trim an Electro-Dominance. Like, I could do something like lose my Wish sideboard flexibility, trim an Electro-Dominance, and, like, trim a Restore Balance to play my Moons. Which is okay, but not great. I don't know. Obviously, I don't have matchup experience here. I don't even know that like the restore balances actually are going to be all that good on the draw. Alright, so in the world where I mulligan into a Leyline, if I have Blood Moon, that's probably a relatively hard lock. So let's do this. And hope to beat any creatures that they just floop into play with Jace Bounce or Bridge. I will definitely be keeping this hand. I'm thinking about whether or not I want to put in both Leylines. If I don't put in both Leylines, I could put a Leyline under a Chrome Mox as just a colorless manaless source. Or a colorless mana source. But I'm going to put in both. If my opponent just has some, like, Assassin's Trophy style card that just goes and takes, like, one of these out, having the second redundant one is great. If they're playing something like Echoing Truth, it's irrelevant, but I'm going to suspend this Ancestral. I could, like, wait. Maybe I'm supposed to just, like, wait until next turn and just, like, cast it with As Foretold. It's super awkward if my opponent, like, uses a discard spell and takes the As Foretold, though. But if they take the As Foretold, they leave me with Jace. It's fine. Alright, so they get Dark Depths. And they have Vampire Hexmage. That's unfortunate. So I guess I'm not 100% dead to this. Am I? Maybe I am. Let's find out. Maybe they won't go for it. They have gone for it. Rats. Have we played against 4 combo decks in a row? No, we played against Delver round 1. Delver, then 3 combo decks, I think. There's so much combo online right now. I don't know if, like, in, like, Syracuse, we'll see an equal amount of combo. I imagine the answer to that is no. Just because, like, I don't know if you heard that outburst or not, but my roommate is playing that new shooter game that everyone is hot on. What is it, like Anthem? Is that it? He's been playing that online quite a bit. Apex Legends, yeah, it started with an A. I do not follow shooter games. Is Anthem the one that is like, isn't it like pre-releasing or something like that? Like today or tomorrow or something like that? I forget which. Yeah, so the one that he's been playing is Apex. The one that he will be playing, or maybe is playing now, I don't know exactly, is Anthem. Yeah, but he's been messing around with those and getting somewhat frustrated. I can cast Restore Balance on turn 2. So keep. Let's say keep. I just don't enjoy the shooter genre, generally speaking. Ooh, we're probably playing against, like, the Cleric-Stompy deck. Man, I think I'm, like, getting ghosted. That's super disappointing. The sort of unfortunate thing about going all in on Aspertold is I'm going to go down to 2 cards. But I think that's fine. So Chromox can go, and I think I don't really need the Underground Sea. So I'll junk those. I believe I just did that absolutely backwards. It's a little frustrating, but probably doesn't matter. Hmm. So I probably need to, like, take the Matter Reshaper off the board and just hope it's not another creature. This just doesn't feel good. Oh, they got a Reality Smasher. Please don't have a Soul Land and just leave me dead for doing that. Also, please let me have Ensnaring Bridge as my top card. Okay, so I get a look at Ensnaring Bridge off the top off of Chandra. Oh. Well, we'll try this. We'll see if it works out, huh? How's it work out? Aww. Aww. Actually, probably shouldn't have done that in case I didn't realize how that worked, but They're probably listening to the stream, so that's moot. So, how do I want to do this? The chalices are bad. I'll be boarding those out, and I'll want to board in 4 cards in those slots. I probably won't board anything else above those 4. I will probably just actively board that in. I'll probably board in Byforce, Confluence. Pyroclasm, kind of medium, but I'll probably play it. And then board this in. Leave myself with Devastation Tide and Obliterate as wish targets. Or no, I don't have to board this one in. 1, 2, 3. What's the 4th card I boarded? Oh, I boarded in the other Restore Balance, and I just moved it over there. Alright, this is fine. The moons aren't stellar, but the mana base on the other side of the battlefield is super clunky. This hand has nothing going for it. Mulligan. This hand has the potential of a turn 3 Chandra, but no plays before that. This one probably has to be a mulligan as well, unfortunately. It sucks. I'll keep this. And I have to, yeah, I have to scry a blue source to the top to have a chance. Which I did. It's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. Well, that sucks. Could have beaten a lot of hate cards, but Thalia Heretic Athar, kind of with how this mull to 5 went, is going to be unbeatable. Unless my opponent just totally flubs their choice, but they did not. So now I'll hope to rip another As Foretold in the next couple of cards. And again, I'm not going to have like time to suspend either one of these and actually have them do anything. So we're just playing towards drawing As Foretold off the top. Do-do-do. I believe Suspend is a special action that does not use the stack, so I do not believe that Revoker interacts with that. All right, womp womp. That was a mighty quick league. Okay, thoughts on the deck list. Feels worse than Red Prison, but it's fun. So if I were to critique it, I'd say my biggest problem is that the deck doesn't really sideboard. Like, I don't really think these 2 copies of Burning Wishes are really worth building the sideboard in a way that, like, works around them. So I think these should just be, like, the 4th copies of Restore Balance and Ancestral Vision, and then the sideboard should just be, like, some more reasonable cards, I think. I don't know, maybe because we played a lot of, like, very fast decks, the Burning Wish package was not at its best. Like, we didn't play against the slow control decks where a top deck Burning Wish towards the end of the game gets obliterated, and, like, there's literal no way back in the game for our opponents. So, like, maybe I saw, like, the wrong set of matchups in order to like this. More generally, the first couple of matches, like, definitely showed the power of, like, just the generic Stompy package, you know. But I think if you want to be doing something like this, just going the full Red Prison route is going to be more consistent. This was neat, though. I don't really know that Electro Dominance has a real place in Legacy to, like, cheat in cards like this. As Foretold, you know, is a little loose as well. I don't know that, like, the power level you get from these is worth jumping through the hoops. Like, obviously, these are busted effects. But is that worth putting these cards in your deck in order to enable them? Unclear. I mean, we could certainly go deeper. Add another color, add some Peacekeepers in, and go to town. Oh, excuse me. But then we'd have Peacekeeper in our deck. And, you know, I don't know that I want to be the Peacekeeper guy. So this was fun. I enjoyed it. I want to thank White Faces for donating the ticks in order to make this happen. I hope it was amusing from the other side of the table, because I certainly enjoyed playing it. So that's all I've got for you tonight. I'll be back on Saturday. I don't have a donation deck list for Saturday, so if you're interested in supporting that, you know, let me know, and I'd be happy to play something on stream. So that's a $12 donation or 12 ticks if you have Magic Online, and you can get your deck list featured. I'm going to be turning you over to Arkin, who's going to be playing Legacy of some nature. I don't know which deck list he's going to be playing today, but thank you all. I hope you all have a great evening. And if this is your first time on the channel, consider following. I am doing Legacy here 3 days a week. Good night, folks.